what is Viva Vault in short, and they can get some idea regarding. Well, then why Viva Vault and why people should learn about Viva Vault? What it makes it different from the other
Sure.
tools?
So, Viva Vault is an enterprise content management tool.
So, are there any different products of the Viva Vault, like different suits of the Vault? Different, like there is a separate product for the regulatory, there is a separate product for the commercials.
So, as you mentioned, there are a lot of content management tools in the market, like OpenText. Um, there are a lot of things are there, tools are there. But coming to Viva Vault, the Viva Vault is specifically they developed for the pharma companies.
So, Deepan, I mean, if you can just go into your experience, you mentioned that you have been working since last 10 years into the vault itself, right? So, how you started into this and how you get into this technology, right? And because prior to that, you have worked around 4 years, right? If I'm not wrong, into the industry, and then you started your career into the vault side, right? So, how you started this and how it begins for you? Deepan, in the current situation, right, looking into this 2024, end of the 2024, and what is the demand? I mean, what do you think? I mean, in your views, what going to be the demand of the VR world developers in the coming years?
Definitely, this content management will not going to be distant, right? So Viva is definitely there now, and later there is a new tool is going to come, but still the backbone of the enterprise content management is going to be the same. So they
Right.
can easily upgrade after 10 to 15 years as well.
People can start learning into this, but they cannot do the practically things, right, or into the system. They cannot go and they can log in or something, right, because it's not an open source, you mentioned. हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल द कॉर्पोरेट गाइस। फ्रेंड्स, आज के इस वीडियो में पॉडकास्ट में हमने डिस्कस किया है रिगार्डिंग दी फ्यूचर ऑफ वीवा वर्ल्ड डेवलपर। फ्रेंड्स, इस टॉपिक पर डिस्कशन के लिए हमारे साथ थे अमृता दीपन, जिनके पास टोटल 14 ईयर्स ऑफ इंडस्ट्री एक्सपीरियंस है, साथ ही साथ 10 साल उनके पास वीवा वर्ल्ड का भी एक्सपीरियंस है। फ्रेंड्स, इस पॉडकास्ट में हमने हर एक चीज़ डिटेल में यहाँ पर कवर करने की कोशिश करी हुई है। इस पॉडकास्ट को देखने के बाद आपको पूरा आइडिया लग जाएगा कि वीवा वर्ल्ड होता क्या है, वीवा वर्ल्ड किस इंडस्ट्री में ज़्यादातर काम आता है, क्या ये ओपन सोर्स है, मार्केट में इसकी डिमांड क्या है, साथ ही साथ आगे भविष्य में फ्यूचर में इसकी डिमांड क्या होने वाली है। कोई बिगनर है तो उसको कहाँ से स्टार्ट करना चाहिए, कहाँ से वो सीख सकता है, कैसे पढ़ सकता है, क्या इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोडक्ट्स हैं, क्या इंपॉर्टेंट इसके सूट्स हैं। साथ ही साथ कोई अगर ऑलरेडी वीआ वर्ल्ड पर काम कर रहा है तो उसको किस एरिया पर ज़्यादा फोकस करना चाहिए टू ग्रो इनटू दिस वीआ वर्ल्ड टेक्नोलॉजी। तो फ्रेंड्स, इन सारे की एरियाज़ के साथ साथ कुछ और की एरियाज़ पर भी हमने यहाँ पर डिस्कशन किया है। तो प्लीज़ वीडियो को पूरा देखें, एंड तक देखें, एंड मेरे ख्याल से ये वाला वीडियो आपके लिए बहुत ज़्यादा यूज़फुल होने वाला है। तो वीडियो को बिल्कुल स्किप ना करें। साथ ही साथ कोई आपका फ्रेंड है जो वीआ वर्ल्ड डेवलपर है या फिर वो वीआ वर्ल्ड टेक्नोलॉजी में जाना चाहता है, तो उनके साथ भी ये वाला वीडियो ज़रूर शेयर करें। Hello Deepan, welcome to my YouTube channel, The Corporate Guys. First, I want to thank you for accepting the invitation and sharing your views on the topic, the future of the VR world developer. So Deepan, if you can brief yourself a little bit to our audience, that would be great.
Thanks, Vaibhav, for providing this session opportunity and to collaborate with you. So this is Deepan. I am having some 14 plus years of experience in IT and a decade of experience in Viva World. So here we plan to talk more about Viva for the people who are new to Viva as well as who wants to learn more about Viva.
Okay.
And as you mentioned, the corporate guys is a page which I used to follow, and it's inspiration to start my own YouTube page as well. It's
Okay.
learn more about Viva as the page, so
Okay.
people can see that as well.
Thank you, Deepan. Thank you for briefing yourself. So, Deepan, directly we will jump into the main topics of today's agenda, that is the future of the VR world developer. So, I just wanted to ask some basic about the VR world. I mean, if you can describe in one line or two line to our viewers that what is VR world in short, and they can get some idea regarding that.
Okay. So Viva Vault is an enterprise content management tool. So people who doesn't know about content management is something the people can able to manage the documents and the contents which they are preparing their life, and then they can manage the content as well within that particular tool. So for that, Viva Vault is a platform for the enterprise content management tool, and they have been just providing the support only for the pharma domain.
you mentioned, right, this is a ECMS tool and a content management tool, right? So I think in the market we do have some other tools as well, right? Documentum, and there might be some other tools as well. Then why Viva World, and why people should learn about Viva World? What it makes it different from the other
That,
tools?
that's a good point. So as you mentioned, there are a lot of content management tools in the market, like OpenText. Um, there are a lot of things are there. The tools are there. But coming to Viva Vault, the Viva Vault is specifically they developed for the pharma companies. So most of the pharma companies moved from their previous content management tool to the Viva Vault. And the Viva Vault is an one-cloud tool, so it can be accessible from anywhere. If you have internet and you have the proper access, you can able to access this application. So comparing to other tools that will be accessible using the respective Java version and particular browser, but here it is easy to access and easy to work on.
Okay. Thank you, Deepan, for that information. And Deepan, in the very first answer you mentioned, right, the Viva World is mainly used for the pharma domain, right? So in the pharma domain, as per my knowledge, I mean there are multiple areas, right? For regulatory affairs, for promotional materials, for medical related documents, or for some other kind of document might be there, right? So are there any different products of the Viva World, like different suits of the World? Different, like there is a separate product for the regulatory, there is a separate product for the commercials.
Yeah, to explain about that, people should first understand about the pharma life cycle. So, what pharma companies do. So, as you mentioned, regulatory, clinical. So, these are all the different domains within the pharma life cycle. It will do. So, for each and every domain, like regulatory, there is a separate regulatory suite is there. So, it also covers. They have provided around 10 to 20 applications separately.
Okay.
And clinical, again, having 15 to 20 applications. So if you start working on Viva, they are going to just work on a single application. So they should not feel that I don't have the experience in the regulatory, but I only have the experience in clinical. So that the look and feel of the application is completely same for all the applications they have provided. Only thing based on the domain, the features, and then the tab names and the object names, that is getting slightly different.
Okay, okay, got it. So there are multiple products. I mean, if someone wanted to deep dive into the regulatory, they need to learn some specific suit. If someone wanted to deep dive into the commercial side, they need to learn different product, right, of the
Yes.
world that you mentioned.
So this Viva Vault is developed by a Viva Systems. So there is a company. So Viva Systems is kind of providing a lot of training guides and lot of things to learn about the Viva administrative skills, and also for the domain specific, like the regulatory, what are the domain level understanding you should need. You can go directly to the Viva World Help portal is there. That is easy to access by anyone, and they can learn by themselves.
Okay, got it. So, Deepan, I mean, if you can just go into your experience, you mentioned that you have been working since last 10 years into the vault itself, right? So, how you started into this, and how you get into this technology, right? And because prior to that, you have worked around 4 years, right? If I'm not wrong, into the industry, and then you started your career into the vault side, right? So, how you started this and how it begins for you?
Yeah, my journey is pretty bigger, and I don't want to explain everything in detail. So
Yeah.
I have been completed my Java experience, I mean Java learnings in my academic time, and then I have gone directly into the content management COE areas. So
Okay.
I have the experience in working on multiple content management. So not only the enterprise content management, but also I worked in the web content management, like Vignette, Predion, like that. Multiple things I started working. So there I can able to understand and start working on an ECM, there is enterprise content management tool called Documentum. Now they call
Okay.
it as OpenText. Since that Documentum experience I had, the background, what the enterprise content management do, like what is rendition and what is version, what is life cycle. These are all the base of enterprise content management system. So if you are good about that, you can easily learn the upgraded tool. Like Viva Vault is an upgraded tool. From Documentum, they have taken up the backbone, and then they have built it only for a pharma companies. So pharma companies are ready to migrate their Documentum to a Viva Vault as well for most of the pharma companies. Now I feel most of the big pharmas are doing, I mean, there is a tie-up with Viva
Hmm.
and using the Viva for almost all their applications currently.
Okay, got it. Okay, so it was long journey for you, and you started with the Java developer, then the documentum side, then into the world, right? Okay.
Yes.
Deepan, in the current situation, right, looking into this 2024, end of the 2024, and what is the demand? I mean, what do you think? I mean, in your views, what going to be the demand of the VR world developers in coming years?
So around 2007, they have developed this product, and after 4 or 5 years of struggle, from 2012, most of the pharma companies started talking about Viva World. And I
Okay,
have seen around 2014 while I was starting, very few companies are taking up the Viva projects and started doing some of the commercial applications to migrate. But while I'm saying from the 2020 to 2022, that is a very good period for Viva Vault and Viva systems. So most of the pharma companies switch to that, and whoever has the configuration knowledge, they will keep switching their companies and getting upgraded financially as well. Um, Now, currently, the state is it is very matured, and many people are started learning the configuration. And if you are taking any project-based companies, okay,
okay,
so 500 to 800 resources will be working for a content management COE. In that Viva world, if you are taking at least 100 resources or 50 to 100 resources will be working on Viva. So it is very limited resources are working on Viva. So automatically, if you are working on Viva, you will be kind of unique to that organization. And
okay,
most of the projects we are getting, and we are looking for a resources who is expert in the configuration more than a supporter.
okay,
So the person wants to learn Viva, they have to start with the support activities and do some hands-on, and then they can improve and have to go to configuration so that they can improve and they can move with the Viva work.
okay.
That's
So
my
you are saying overall that if I summarize this answer, you are saying that the demand is quite huge into the world side,
yes.
but the supply is not that much, right? And still the companies are hiring in the bulk for the developer side, right? Okay,
Yeah, I have seen multiple companies, they were struggling to get the resources. So they were started giving the training within themselves and training the freshers and making them to work on the support activities. And who are already working on support, they are improvising them and then they are moving to the configuration activities. So that way they are providing the support for any pharma clients. And I feel more than 10 to 15 years, at least we have this Viva opportunities keep going on.
okay,
So,
great. Then I think whoever is going to pursue this via world developers, their future is bright, I think, right?
yeah, not only Viva. So if you're knowing the Viva configuration and the backend, right, and
Right.
domain understanding, then you can pursue easily. If any other good tool is coming up in the future,
Okay.
definitely this content management will not going to be destroyed. Right? So Viva is definitely there now, and later there is a new tool is going to come, but still the backbone of the enterprise content management is going to be the same. So they
Right.
can easily upgrade after 10 to 15 years as well. So this is the right time if they want to switch to Viva. That's my point.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect answer. You mentioned that they can continue into this, and if they have the domain level knowledge, then doesn't matter that your product has been changed or not. So Deepan, I mean, continuing into this area only. So just wanted to understand. You mentioned right around 20 to 30 products, I think, right, of the world. Can you specify one or two or few some important modules or some important suits of the world that are very important or most demanding in the current market?
So the most demanding one in the current market, I feel, is regulatory and clinical. So
Okay,
these two applications are critical application for a pharma side. So whatever the clinical trial operations they are doing for any drug, and then how it is moving to the market, the regulatory authorities has to approve. That will be coming under the regulatory area. So for that, the application name I will say is clinical is CDMS, um, Clinical Development Management System, and Electronic Trial Master File (ETMF),
Okay.
Then regulatory side, it is registration, submission, publishing. So this is kind of critical application. Mostly, you should have the good understanding in the object level configurations. And other than that, at commercial side, ProMats is kind of going good, and
Okay.
QMS, quality management system, is another good application to learn. But now, hope you are aware about this Vault CRM. So
Right.
Viva was doing a tie-up with Salesforce and doing the CRM activities. That is the customer relationship marketing. Now they have removing the tie-up with Salesforce from 2025. So
Okay.
Vault CRM, they are going to migrate to a Vault CRM. So Vault
Okay.
CRM has been in place now and going to establish in the industry. So if Vault CRM comes up, there is no much integration needed from Vault from Metcoms to CRM Salesforce. This is going to be a challenging one that Viva is providing.
Yeah, challenging and kind of a bit good opportunity, I would say, right, for the world developers right now. They are specific only to the world. Now they can deep dive into the CRM side as well, right? You mentioned so that also a good opportunity, I think.
Yes.
Right. Deepan, so is it an open source, right? I mean, people faces challenges, right, to learn the new technologies, and from there they can practice. From there they can do some demonstration into the environment itself, right? That how to create the documents, how to create the life cycles, workflows, etc. It could be anything, right? So is it an open source, or from where they can practice, from where they can learn? Any references or anything, if you could help to our viewers?
Actually, this is not an open source tool. So
Okay.
the Viva Systems is getting a tie-up with every organization if they want to implement or get a training as well and getting an application in their hand. So Viva Systems is managing the whole server activities for this enterprise content management tool. So if they are providing the tool like application to a company like project-based companies or pharma clients, so they will be providing as a package. For example, if it is a ProMats, they are providing as a standard features will be already been there, and then
Okay.
as per the requirements, the customization will be happen. So for learning about this Viva Vault application, if you are working already in a company and
Okay.
they are ready to provide you the training and you can able to learn it and do get a hands-on from your employer. If you
Okay.
don't have the Viva opportunity, so you have to search for the help portal. But for doing any hands-on activities, I don't think there is an option that Viva is
Okay.
providing. I have heard like many people are doing freelancing and providing some trainings, but no one can provide you the hands-on opportunity.
Right.
So if your employer is having that tool for doing the training, you can go ahead and learn that.
Okay. So you are saying that people can start learning into this, but they cannot do the practically things, right? Or into the system they cannot go and they can log in or something, right? Because it's not an open source, you mentioned.
But most of the project companies now owning the tie-up with the Aviva system. So even the small scale companies I can see. So if you
Okay.
are having the interest, try to move to the pharma domain and try to get into that project or
Okay.
get an hands-on.
Okay, understood. And Deepan, what is the difficulty level? I mean, for the beginners, let's suppose right now I'm working into the Salesforce, I'm working as a Java developer, and now someone get interested into this VIA world side, right? And they thought, okay, I wanted to go into this technology. How difficult it is, you think, for the beginners to learn?
One good thing about Viva is the person who doesn't have the coding knowledge, still they can easily adapt to this Viva tool and then they can able to learn that tool because it is completely a configuration from the front end itself.
Right.
So if you want to do an L2 activity, it's pretty simpler. And if you want to go to the development activities, still you are going to do the configuration activities within the application itself. Two coding activities you should need knowledge is REST API. So REST
Okay.
API knowledge is needed using a Postman. And then Java SDK and Python is an add-on advantage. If you are having that experience, you can do some integration activities or any automation kind of. If you are good with that, you will be unique in that project. And person who doesn't have the coding knowledge and the person who is having coding knowledge differs. But
Okay.
it is easy to learn to start with that. but the flow and everything you have to properly learn.
Right. This should be in some particular sequence, right? That firstly you need to learn some prerequisite to learn any other thing. Like
Mhm.
suppose if you wanted to go into the workflow side, life cycle side, right? There might be some prerequisite, I think. Okay. And you also mentioned, right, it is not dependent on the coding side, right? If someone is not into the coding, then still they can work on this. So is there any coding? I mean, you mean directly you are saying that there is no coding required into the wall side. If someone wanted to be a wall developer, they don't need coding background, right?
So it is not say no need of coding required,
Okay.
but if they have the Java experience, they can do lot of customized SDK.
Okay.
That is Java SDK, they will say. If you go to developer.viewworld.com, you will able to understand what is Java SDK. And if you are doing that coding, and you can able to create some customized actions, like actions, we will call it as web actions, or initiating a workflow, or initiating something from the particular object. So those things, if you have the Java knowledge, you can able to do that. Without that, you cannot able to trigger that, and you have to verify that as well. And REST API is something, everything can be done from the backend. Like
Okay.
whatever the front end activities that users are doing, that can be
Okay.
done from the backend. For that, REST API and VQL query, that is a Vault query language, you should have to understand.
Okay, understood. Okay, thank you for this insights. Deepan, if someone is currently working on the wall side, then could you please, I mean, specify some of the important topics or some important things, I would say, like APIs you mentioned, right? There is Java SDK, there is some configuration side and testing and support, right? What you think, I mean, should be that, okay, every wall developer should know at least these things, some important things if you can specify.
So Vault developers, what I will say, first understand the difference between what is document configuration and the object configuration. If you're going into regulatory or clinical, mostly the object configuration activities you are going to perform. But
Okay.
document configuration is pretty simpler than the object configuration, because object configuration need lot of VQL queries, and you have to do the validation and have to restriction everything. You need a VQL query.
Okay.
So you have to find the difference between object configuration and document configuration is the first point, and then you should have the Postman application in hand and start trying to do any REST API activities. So as I mentioned, developer.viewworld.com is having the REST API skills, and you can able to utilize that, and you can learn by yourself.
Okay.
So here you can start with that.
Okay, thank you, Deepan, for this. Deepan, you mentioned some references as well, right? So, apart from the official documentation, right, that official help is that we have developer.viaworld.com, right? So, is there any other YouTube channel you can specify, or I mean, if you know, or if you are aware of? I think you have also opened one of the YouTube channel. Can you please
Learn more
detail
about
about?
Veeva.
Could you please light
Okay.
something about that channel? Yeah.
I have that thinking, like many people doesn't know about the Viva. So if they want to learn Viva, where they are going, and verifying that. So most
Right.
people will be keep calling me and asking about how to learn this tool. These kind of questions keeps coming to them. So I started with just putting some post in LinkedIn in my page.
Okay.
My full name is Amit Pradeepan, so you can find me in the LinkedIn. So after that, I thought of creating a YouTube page. The YouTube channel name is Learn More About Viva. You can easily search, and if you want, you can go through all the different videos there. And also, I used to think how to connect different Viva people from different organizations. I think I
Right.
have created a WhatsApp group as well.
Okay.
From whoever I have personally known, I have added them, and whoever they know, they have keep adding them. So we used to discuss more about what kind of configuration we can do for this kind of requirement. Like the questions, like generic questions, we'll be discussing. We don't do anything unauthorized maybe your systems. Mostly,
Okay.
we'll be thinking and we'll be discussing as a family between the different companies. So that is another good thing. If anyone wants, we can add them there as
Okay, so I mean the topics are you are going to continue right on your channel as well. If someone wanted to grow in the world side, into the world community, and they wanted to learn or get some insights on that side, right? I think they can refer your channel, right?
well. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so
So I think you have the experience with Viva as well. I think you have from the beginning you are with Viva, or
Yes, Deepan, I started my IT background career. I'm into the MNCs since 2019, and I started my career with the Vault developers only. So initially, I was on bench for 3 to 4 months. Then directly, I got deployed into the Vault project. So continuously, I think from October 2019, I am into the Vault side itself. Yeah. So
So many people will think while we are deploying a person, okay, there is no coding. Why should I have to learn this tool? Is
right,
there any opportunity is there in future? Like that, the fresher point of view, they will have a lot of questions. I used
right.
to answer them that this is one of the good tool. Uh, you can learn first, and then you can decide your career. That's
That's
what I
correct.
used to say to any people. Mostly people will say, I want to go to machine learning or data science. Like that, they want to develop in the coding level. That's the thinking initially. Even I had the thinking while I was a fresher, right? So I feel start learning any other tool coming across you, and then fix your career later. So
I think
I
you
am
are
into
reading.
your
Yeah, I think you are reading my mind because I was also thinking that on the same time when I got into the world side that okay, I don't want to work on this technology. I want to go into the coding side. I want to be a Java developer, and I was little frustrated for first 6 months that okay, what technologies I got. I don't see any future of mine into this. But slowly when I started deep diving into this technology, I get to know that okay, there is definitely very good future into this, and there is much to explore into this as well, and this is very good technologies. So I think you answer it correctly, and I think everyone
and
who is working into this as a, or starting their career as a fresher into the world technology, I think they should continue into this, and they should explore more into this, right?
and one more point I want to mention to the L2 resources who are working on Viva World. So most of the people working on L2, they are not learning by themselves in the sandbox environment for doing the configuration activities.
Right,
Because as it is not an open source tool, if they are having getting an opportunity in learning L2 activities, parallelly they have to put their hands on and do the configuration activities as well using the Viva Vault help page like that. So that will definitely going to help them out in future for switching or moving to other development areas as well.
right,
So that is the problem. People are looking for open source tool, but since it is not an open source tool, if they are in the project, they have to put their effort and have to learn. So like myself and you, anyone can help them out in
right. That's correct.
learning in that area.
Yeah, that's correct. Thank you, Deepan, for sharing your insights and sharing your experience with us. And I think this is really going to be useful for our audience and for the viewer world developers who is looking into this technology. And viewers, we will also mention the LinkedIn profile and the YouTube channel name of the Deepan into the description. You can find there. And if in case you have any queries or if you want to connect with Deepan, definitely you can reach out to him over the LinkedIn, and you can find his LinkedIn profile into the description. Thank you, Deepan, once again for joining us.
Thanks, bye bye.